Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I thought I'd pop by again and give you some further inspiration for my new release that was out on Monday. You can actually purchase the bundle on Create and Craft TV, and if you purchase the bundle you actually get a free workshop with purchase, and this is my workshop that I've created. And it's a beautiful workshop, and you create 3 cards. I'll add the link to the bundle in my description, and I'll also add my affiliate link to the All and Create shop. These are the stamps that are available in the bundle, and I adore them. I've done more samples with this release than any other release, and it's just wonderful. Let me show you the picture of the workshop, which was the whole point when I started the video, was to get the picture of the workshop. And of course the one photograph I want, that one. Let's go into Photoshop, and so just bear with me and I'll try and get you the picture. There you go, there's the picture of the workshop. Those are the 3 cards that you create. So that's the free gift with purchase, and you can get that on the Create and Craft website, which I'll add the link to in the description. So I thought I'd pop by, and during this card I'm going to show you simple methods that if you don't, I may cut out little elements, but along the way I'm going to show you that if you don't want to cut out anything, you don't have to cut out, and you can just leave it just stamped just along the way, just so that you've got lots of variety. So I'm going to use the stamps, but I've also, in the October release, I've got some ephemera, and these ephemera words are fantastic. Something that I can use all the time, all the way throughout the year. I just love them, and they just work beautifully with any release. And if I put the link, the affiliate link, you can buy these as a bundle on Create and Craft, and you can buy them as individuals on All and Create. So I will add the relevant links. So you get that, and also I have some beautiful washes out as well. I've got this lovely leaf one that is just gorgeous. I have this daisy one that's also got the aster on there. So another beautiful washi. So I've got 4 washes out, and I've got the rose one as well. Just love these washes. So I've got the rose one, and I've also got the black and white rose one as well. All these are available in the bundle. So let's begin. So what I've got is I've got a piece of pink frog smooth card, and it's 6 inches square. I've then created a mat that is 6 1/4 inches square, and then a card blank 7 inches by 7 inches. But what I'm going to do to begin with, we're just going to do something very, very simple. So I'm going to give you a simple idea for quick ATCs, but which I will then, what this card is about is showing you that you can add these to your journals. You can create them just as ATCs. If you don't know what ATCs mean, that is artist trading cards. And artist trading cards are 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Now I'm going to show you how you can just create 3 quick ATCs with these stamps, and you can just use them as ATCs, or how you develop it and you can create them into cards. You could even make these into little notelets to just send to someone and say, hi, just thinking of you, or lots of love. So I've got my stamps here. So let me just show you this. So with any purchase, you get this stamp on Create and Craft, and that's available individually on All and Create. But I've got all these stamps here that I can use just from the October release. Just wonderful. But I'm going to show you how you can change them and change it up along the way. So I like to use different colour schemes each time. So I'm going to start with Turnover, which is stamp set 1005. These are also available individually on Create and Craft as well, and All and Create. So I'm going to use some different colours that I've used before. So let's bring them in order. I've got Mustard Seed, Lumberjack Plaid, Picked Raspberry and Aged Mahogany, which I may put them in that order. So when that mixes with that, you're going to get slight orange tones. So you can't see that, but there you go. Mustard Seed, Picked Raspberry, Lumberjack Plaid, Aged Mahogany. And I'm going to, now don't forget, I'm just showing you simple methods, the way these stamps were designed. So you can stamp them in black if you wish, which is, it gives you a lovely bold statement and gives a contrast to your designs. I'm going to use the Picked Raspberry, and I'm just stamping sort of randomly on there. So Picked Raspberry, keep them in order. Then I'm going to use Lumberjack Plaid. Just use that Lumberjack Plaid, and then I'm going to use some Aged Mahogany. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to spritz with water. I'm just going to use them as is. Let me just grab a wipe, and there's no rush. You can just take your time. So I'll grab one of the ATCs. Now, if you just want a simple idea and you're just starting off crafting, no spritzing with water, just place that onto the ATC. No acrylic block, just used as is. And just press those colours on there. You don't need to press hard. And all the hard work is done for you. Just like that. Just wonderful. So let's change the stamp. Now you could also, let's just grab another piece of card. Then if you wanted to create a second generation, let's just spritz the stamp now with water. I don't know if there's enough ink on there to make a print, but you don't have to waste that ink. And then you've got something you could use as a background element. Again, nice simple idea, nothing complicated at all. There we go. So we've used that stamp. So now let's use the Acer 1006, A for Acer. Now, if you wanted to send a little notelet to somebody, you could use the ephemera, put a little word on here and send a little notelet, and it's just to say, you know, I'm thinking of you or whatever. So let's now do the Acer, A for Acer, which is stamp set 1006. Again, bring in the ATC and we'll again ink with the yellow. Let's add a little bit more pink on this one, just to change it up a little bit. And then we'll add a touch of the Lumberjack Plaid. Very juicy ink pad that is. And then again, you can see I'm not using an acrylic block, I'm just using it as is. And just place that on there. And look how perfect that fits on the ATC. So if you're just starting off crafting, it gives you a nice idea just to play around with your stamps and colour schemes, just to get you started in being creative. And the results are just lovely. Just look at that. Don't you think that is gorgeous? I just think that is just lovely. And then you've got your 2 ATCs, like so. So then let's bring in our 3rd ATC. Before we do though, you've got some ink left on there. So let's see what we've got. Spritz that stamp again with water, and let's try the 2nd generation. And this is why I designed these stamps, because they're so easy to use and the results every time are brilliant. Plus, they don't date. Now look at that, that's 2nd generation. Isn't that gorgeous? 2nd generation print, that is. Just wonderful. So again, nice simple ideas that you don't, if you don't want to cut out, you don't have to cut out. As you know by now from my channel, you know that I love cutting out. You know that that's my style. You know that I like layered elements. That's my style. So which one shall we go for now? So much choice. Right, let's go for this one this time. But let me just show you this one. I've stamped it in greens and blues for you. Doesn't it look stunning? And I'm going to create a card with that, but doesn't that look stunning? Absolutely love that. So just play around with your colours and just enjoy it. So then I'm going to use the 1007, the background stamp. Couldn't get my words out then. Now I've got an ATC here. Doesn't matter that your stamp is A6. You can just use parts of it. So again, let's take some of that mustard seed and work in the middle. So we'll take some of that mustard seed. We'll take some picked raspberry. No idea where the ATC is going to land, so we'll mix it up a bit. A little bit of the lumberjack plaid. And when you've got a big stamp, you can turn it over and take it straight to here, because you can see exactly where you're going with a clear stamp. Or if you're not sure, you can take your ATC and move it around exactly where you want it. And I can just rub the back of the card like so. So just take that and you can rub the back of the card. And because it's a background, it doesn't matter if you miss some. But look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? Just stunning. So you've now got that as well. So we've got ink on there, so let's give that a spritz. Now I've done nothing complicated. Nice and simple. The stamps do all the work for you. So I can just place this on here. Like so. I might have a bit here. Like so. Just wonderful. So you've created a whole background piece. And what you can do is you could cut that out so that you get this like that. Just this area here, from there down and across, and that's your background to your card. So again, a lovely simple idea. The stamps do all the work for you. So what I'm going to do now is, she says, grab another piece of card, because we're just going to edge those in black. Now, what Tracy should have done is edged these in black Posca pen first, because then if you make any mistakes with adding the edges to your ATC, your background isn't wasted. So do the Posca pen bit first if you can. I got just too excited for creating the backgrounds. So you've got a nice faux black mat. That one isn't quite as dark. There we go. So you've got a faux black mat on that, which makes that pop, which is beautiful. Now, if you wanted to send a little note to somebody, just use your ephemera, add a little piece of the ephemera there with a word like beauty, and you could just send that to somebody. Just perfect. So let's just take the next one. And the only reason I've put it on a white piece of card is it just saves my non-stick craft sheet, saves me smearing the black all over the non-stick craft sheet when I wipe it up. And just, there we go. So I've got a nice pop with that faux black mat. And I just place it on one side just to give that a few seconds to dry. There we go. Make sure that your Posca pen, the paint is actually flowing so that, you know, that paint flows throughout the pen and you can do those edges nicely. Just beautiful. And it just works so nicely. You could even create a card out of this, because what you could do is you could add a little bit of stamping in the background with your leaves, so like so. So I don't waste anything. So if you wanted, you take a few leaves. Let's add a little bit of the pink, a little bit of the lumberjack plaid. Spritz that with water, but this time just one spritz. So even with something that is just total waste, you could add the leaves like so, and you've got another background. So let's add this to here, like so. Just keep adding, and that's your background. So you could cut that up even to ATC size, and you've got another background. So there's always ways. There's very rarely any waste. And if you've got a good quality idea in a stamp, then it works beautifully. And I really do think hard about what I'm designing. So if you wanted simple ideas, there you go, done. You don't have to do any cutting out. You don't have to add anything else at all. But you know me by now. I like to sort of create with mine and take it up another level. So what I'm going to do is show you. What you have to do now is you hope that you've got a piece of acetate somewhere. It doesn't matter because I can use my packaging from my stamp. So let's use the packaging from the stamp. It's easier that way because then I'm not hunting for things. So let's pick up one of the stamps and let's use the acetate from the stamp set. So what we'll do is we'll just give that acetate a little bit of a clean, mainly because there's black on there. Of course there is, from my stamping. So what I'm doing now is using the acetate, which doesn't help for a good picture for you because you can't see. So let's just grab a little piece of kitchen roll. Let's just dab that dry. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the same colours. So we'll grab some mustard seed. And what we'll do is we'll just spritz that with a little bit of water. Now, just mess it around a little bit because you don't want it too regimented. You don't want lines on your project. And you can see I've not really got it, so I've not spritzed so much water that it's not flooding everywhere. And what I'm going to do is just add some of this around my background. Now, what I want you to do, as you can see, I've not spritzed too much with water. And what I want you to do is make sure you add all the little dots that are left over. Make sure that you add every little bit to your project so that really there's hardly anything to wipe off that acetate. It's almost dry. So then I'm going to take the picked raspberry, just scribble that on, and then spritz maybe twice. So I've spritzed that twice, and then let's just, now where it touches the yellow, it will turn to orange. But what I want you to do is use every little dot and speck on there. And you can see I'm not doing anything complicated. Just nice, simple technique. And I've just used the dots on there as well. So now we'll take a little bit of the lumberjack plaid. That is a very rich colour. My ink pad is very moist, so just being more careful, just adding a little bit here and there. And if you add the dots as well, it just looks a little bit more random and just gives you sort of, there we go. So now we've created a background that we don't have to dry with a heat tool, because what you can do is you can let that dry naturally. I'm just going to, I mean, I may have to dry with a heat tool depending how wet that stays. So I've got a black mat, so I don't need to put a faux black mat around here. So let's just have a look at the ephemera. So do we want a coloured one or do we want, let's have a look. So I've got mine all in, and I'm just dropping them all on the floor. So there's words on here like garden, so I could use that. There's these little hearts that I just love on there. You could use the word winter if you changed your colours to sort of here, to them colours. Just lovely. You've got create, blossom, bird. You've even got create in a circle. You've got just for you. So if you were sending one of these ATCs to your friend, you could put just for you and send that. You could even add that to the card and nothing else. So there's lots of ways just to plant. I've even got happy anniversary in here. I've got flowers, art. So there's so much in there. You've got hello. So if you wanted to send a little notelet to somebody, you could just add the word hello, add my little stamped bird on the top, and that would be your ATC done. So there's always ways to sort of change it up a little bit. So I'm going to use that garden, I think. The thing is, the only thing with this is you could spend ages because you just enjoy yourself looking through them. Well, I do anyway. There's nature. So let's just use those. So we'll just place those back. And I keep mine in a little wallet. Just to, you could also, so if you wanted to, you could place these on a background like this. Just place them all together. You know, any words, place them all together, adhered on a background like so. And then you could just add a floral on the top. So just so many ways to use the product. Let me just place those in. I just love how these have got the little hearts as well. Look, they've got little hearts there. Even a hugs. I've got a wish as well. Just lovely array of pieces They just work beautifully. Right, so while I've faffed with that a little bit, this has been drying, and look how beautifully it dries, and you've got a nice random background. Right, now what I want to do is I'm going to change mine up a little bit. So I can use the ATCs. It doesn't matter if I get a bit of ink on the background, it's absolutely fine. I'm going to use the ATCs on the card, like so. So my ATCs are going to be used on the card because I want to use them as a whole, as a card. So you can use them as ATCs. I've shown you how you can use them individually. But you know that I love adding layers to my card. But I also like to give you lots of ideas for using my products. So what I'm going to do is I've got this just where I want it. So I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive below, just so that that stays in place. And then I'm going to bring this down a bit and then just add a little bit of adhesive just to hold that in place. Now, the only reason I'm doing that is I don't have to take a photograph then of the composition, because I've now adhered them all together before I put them to the card. So I don't have to worry about that. So what I'm going to do is just now add the adhesive to the ATCs. And you can see that your background works beautifully with what you've created. Now, if you wanted to leave it like that, you could leave it like that and just put the word garden on there, which works beautifully. So I'm showing you each time how you can change that up. Right, I want to add some dimension with one of the leaves, and you can tell that Tracy's got so many stamps out. So I'm going to use this leaf here, which was from Leafle, stamp set 1004. So I'm going to use this. And you could, the idea is also that you can add these to your florals. So the reason I bought them out is that you can take them then and add a floral to these as well, which I just love that idea. But I like to show you how you can use them on their own as well. So I'm going to use mustard seed again, little bit, I couldn't speak then, little bit of picked raspberry. Obviously, you know, if you're a professional, unlike me, you wouldn't be inking your stamp over your piece of card because you know what's going to happen. But I'm just doing that so that you can see what I'm doing. So I think I want a little bit more pink on there. There we go. And I'm going to stamp that. Now, if you're not happy when you stamp it, you can just do it again. So I can just press that on there. Now, don't ask me why I didn't keep it on the backing sheet. Nobody knows. I don't know why I pulled it off the backing sheet. I could have left it on the backing sheet, because that makes it far easier. Absolutely stunning. That is just stunning. Let's just add that there. I absolutely adore that. I just think that's stunning. And these leaves just inspire me so much. And you know what Tracy's done, don't you? She's put everything, or she thinks she has. Where are my scissors? Oh, Tracy can't find her scissors. Oh, there they are. Told you I'd done it. Piled everything else on the top of my scissors, which is standard practice really for Tracy. But I just adore these. So I'm going to just cut this out, just in with a little white border. Now I've shown you how you can create a card and you don't have to do any cutting out at all. I'm aware that we all like different things, and I'm also aware that obviously, you know, some people are just starting out, so we need to break things down. Just cut. Just move that leaf out the way, or else we'll end up cutting it off. And I'm just using Pergamano scissors to cut out, which are a little bit like nail scissors in that they're curved, and I'm so used to cutting out with these. So this is sort of going to be my 3D element. Let's turn that round. And it's just stamped so beautifully with those colours. There we go. So we've now got a beautiful leaf. I mean, I think that is stunning. Absolutely stunning. I just adore it. Right, so I want a little bit of contrast now. So I want a little bit of contrast. And, oh, I've got enough on that card there. So I want a little bit of contrast. So I've got my stencil here, which is Autumn Falls. Stencil 177 Autumn Falls, which goes perfectly with this release, and that's available on the All and Create website. Again, I'll add my affiliate link. Let me just, and I've got that leaf on there. Now this is going to go that way, so yep, you can decide which way your stencil's going. Just take that card. Now I want this in black, so I'm going to use my Nocturne ink, the VersaFine Clair, because I want it really black, just so that it really gives a contrast just to the colours that I've got. And here you can see that the stencil was designed at the same time and works beautifully with the collection. Now don't worry about your stencil. If you clean that straight away, let me just move that out of the way. If you clean that straight away, that will come off, as long as you clean it straight away before it dries. If it dries and you've got carried away with your crafting, just use some hand sanitizer and it'll come off. Right, know where to put that as usual. And then what I'm going to do is cut this black leaf out that I've done from the stencil. Again, if you don't want to cut anything out, that's absolutely fine. You've got a card already made that you don't have to cut out. It's entirely up to you. But I'm trying to show as many ways as possible that you can change it up or change your project as much as you want, or pare it back, whichever works for you. and I'm turning my card rather than my scissors. And obviously when you've used the ink like I've done, you've used the neat ink. VersaFine Claire has got an ink with a good open time, which means it stays wetter longer. You just need to make sure you keep those fingers away from your ink just until it dries, or give it a blast with your heat tool. So this will just give me a contrast to the colour. There we go. And I love creating. It just brings me so much joy. So I'm just wiping my hands. So I've got these leaves now. So let's bring the card in. So this is our card, which is now dried. Well, almost anyway. Don't let's exaggerate, it's only almost. So I can bring this in like so, and that gives me a lovely contrast. So I'm now and I can see all the leaves underneath. So I'm going to add a little bit of my pin flare. If you don't want to add any dimension, keep them flat. I love adding dimension. It just adds to everything for me. Just makes an extra special card. Just bring that in. And these never date. They never date. It's not something that you tire of. They're just there year in, year out. So you can just see the beautiful, just adore that. Absolutely adore it. Right. There is also on my washi with the roses on. Let me just bring this in. On the black and white one, there's these little hearts that are also in the ephemera so that everything coordinates. So you can add a little bit of washi. I don't really like sort of straight lines, so I do like to sort of distress it a little bit. So I can add a little bit of the washi just underneath, and then it's this. And see, now do I want the word nature? So I'm going to have the word nature here. So I won't put, you know, another black edge on there. I'll have the word nature there. So just so that that appears like it's floating, we'll just add that word nature. And that appears like it's floating. And Tracy faffs with it continually. I can then just add my little heart here, the circular heart that matches the circle there in the background. So let's give that a little bit of dimension. Just from the ephemera. So we can add that there. Just give that a little bit of dimension, which echoes the circle in the background. Let's just push this up a bit. There we go. And then, where are you? In my scarecrow set, there's these little birds. So I'm going to take the little bird that's in the scarecrow, trying to find an A7. Acrylic block is almost impossible in my office. Oh. Do you know when you faff trying to pick something up, and it's always when you do a video or whatever? You never do that when you're on your own. So let's just take the little bird. Let's grab a little piece of card. Again, you don't have to cut out the bird if you don't wish. You can just add him to your project. Just stamped directly on your project. So if you don't want to, you can just, in fact, we'll do that. So let's place this down here and go there. Now I've just touched that. So let's just add a little bit more ink. And if you don't want to cut him out, you can just add him here. Like so. And just allow that ink just to sit on there, even if it's just a small stamp, just add it. There you go. So you've now got your little bird on there as well. You can cut him out if you wish, but trying to show you as many ideas as I possibly can. Right. Let me just move these out of the way, and let's add some white splatters. Give that a little bit of a shake and add some white splatters to your project. Turn your project around just so that you hit some different areas. There we go. Turn that round, and let's just grab my gel pen. So I've got my gel pen. I can add a little touch of white there. I can just add some little touches of white to the bird. I just think that is lovely. If you want to add another word, you could add the word garden here to give balance to that there. I like it as that is. So I'm going to add this to my black mat, which is going to make that pop, because the black bird, the black heart, the black leaf, it'll all pop against that black mat. Let's just add that against there. There we go. And just pick that up, just so that you can just get that all in the right place. Make sure you press down in the centre as well, so that it does stick. Now don't forget, I've added moisture to this card, so I'm just sort of bending it into contact, just so that it makes contact, just so that you can see that. I just think that's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm then going to add that to the 7-inch card blank. So let's add to the 7-inch card blank, like so. And it just pops beautifully, beautifully against that white and black. I just think that is gorgeous. So let's have a look at the card in more detail. I just think that works beautifully. Oh, I just adore it. So that's your card. You've created another background from scrap, and you also created another background from the leftovers. Just adore it. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I'm really chuffed with this release. So I'd just like to say thank you all for your support and all your kind comments as well. They really are much appreciated. So love to all, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.